Yo, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy WrestleDrop, and we're back with another predictions video. And today we are looking at AEW Double or Nothing. And of course, it's not the only show this weekend. We have NXT Battleground and we have Night of Champions, which we have done predictions for. I think Night of Champions is out now, and NXT will be out tomorrow if you're watching this on the day of release. Let's get straight into it. I'm keen for this event. I mean, we only get one every 3 or 4 months. However, often it is in between each other, but the fact is we don't get them as often as we do get WWE shows. So whenever they come around, there's a sense of excitement and a sense of energy around them. Matches I'm looking forward to: Adam Cole, Chris Jericho, Adam Cole, baby. The main events, the 4 Pillars main event, and Jamie Hayter and Tony Storm. Those are the 3 matches I'm looking really forward to. Let's start with one of those matches. Let's start with Adam Cole versus Chris Jericho. With obviously it's an unsanctioned match, and we got the random induction of Sabu into the match as a special enforcer, whatever the hell that means in an unsanctioned match. Didn't see that one coming, if I'm being real, but it's all good. It's all good. That's how it be in wrestling. Wrestling, you can never say never in wrestling. Who's gonna win this match? In my opinion, if this rivalry continues past Double or Nothing, Chris Jericho's winning. But if this is where it ends, which I think it should end, seeing as it is a unsanctioned match, it's not just a random match that's building up to the next match. This is a blow-off match. I'm going to say Adam Cole gets the win. I'm going to say Adam Cole should win, and Adam Cole needs to win. It's important that Adam Cole gets the win in this because it's his first big feud back, his first big match back. He can't be taking losses already. And if he goes on to fulfill what I have in mind for him, which is to take on MJF in the end, he's got to win now. He really has to win now. So I'm going to say Adam Cole is winning this match. Next up, we got Ethan Page and the Guns versus the Hardy Brothers and Hook. Now, if the Hardy Brothers win, Hardy Brothers and Hook win, Matt Hardy gets control over Ethan Page's contract. Which, if I understand correctly and remember correctly, that's what Ethan Page had with regards to Matt Hardy's contract. Now, does Ethan Page lose control of his contract? That's the question. And does Jeff Hardy lose in his first big match back? No. Jeff Hardy wins. Jeff Hardy gets the pin firstly over one of the Guns. And yeah, then the story continues with Ethan Page and Matt Hardy, which I am desperately sad about because I do not want to see that continue. Please get them away from each other. It has been going on for far too long. I'm speaking like Tony Khan when he does announcements now. But anyway, yeah, they're gonna win. It is what it is. It's not that much of an exciting match, if I'm being real. It's exciting to see Jeff Hardy back though. Next up, we got Jay Cargill versus Taya Valkyrie, which I personally think Jay Cargill is retaining. And that's not what I would have said a couple weeks ago or a couple months ago. I would have said Taya Valkyrie's winning and Jade's going to move on to bigger things. But I personally don't think she's ready, seeing as, I don't know, something just tells me she's not ready, and something tells me there's no place for her once she loses her title. I think that's the bigger factor. What happens after she loses the title? Where does she go? What storyline is next? What comes next for her? And I don't think Tony Khan has a plan for what's next just yet because she's still a little bit green. He can't put her in the main title scene yet. She cannot keep up with the likes of Jamie Hayter and Tony Storm and Britt Baker and Saraya. She cannot. So let her continue a title run. Let it become legendary if it's not already legendary, and see where it goes from there. Honestly, I'm sure someone will come around at some point when she is ready to take that title from her. Chris Statlander. Next up, we got the Blackpool Combat Club versus the Reunited Elite. So that is Bryan Danielson, Claudio Castagnoli, Jon Moxley, and Wheeler Yuta versus the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, and Hangman Adam Page. Ooh. The thing is, okay, I'm getting PTSD, guys. I'm getting flashbacks to JAS versus Blackpool Combat Club and Co. from last year, where they went months and months and months, and they finally, I don't even think they ended it at Blood and Guts. I think it went on a little bit longer. But the point is, don't do the same, Tony Khan. Do not do the same. this has to either end here or end with another... no, it has to end here. You can't book an Anarchy and Arena match and not have it end. That's a blow-off match. That is a blow-off match. But I know exactly what's going to happen. It's going to go to Blood and Guts. When personally, I feel the women's match should be in Blood and Guts. That's what I personally feel. So it could go either way, but I don't see it ending here when it should be ending here. But as for who I think is going to be the winners, I think it's going to be the Elite. I never was a big fan of the Elite, but I don't know, something about the trios run, not necessarily the matches, the 7 matches they had with, what was their name now? Death Triangle. But since then, since things have evolved a little bit more, I've enjoyed their stuff for a change, which is quite surprising. So I'm going to say the Elite for the win. And yeah, the BCC go on and do their thing, whatever their thing is. Who knows what their thing is. Next up, we got Jamie Hayter versus Tony Storm, a rematch from, what was it, Full Gear? I think it was Full Gear, when Jamie Hayter won the title initially. Now, I got a feeling Jamie's going to lose her title here. I'm a huge fan of Jamie Hayter, but I don't know if her title run has been uninspiring. I don't know if that's the word. Or booked poorly. She hasn't had stories. Simple as that. She hasn't had stories that revolve around her and only her. She's had stories that revolve around Britt Baker. She's had stories that revolve around Saraya, but nothing that revolves around her, which I think has been a downfall in her title reign. I'm gonna say Tony Storm wins. Tony Storm and Saraya then have a little thing going on there because Saraya feels a bit jealous, and then we eventually get Saraya beating Tony Storm and then Saraya taking on Britt Baker. That's what I see happening. And do I like it? Not really. Is it gonna happen? Most likely. So Tony Storm, new champion. Next up, we got the 21-man Blackjack Battle Royal for the International Championship. What a mouthful. Let me run down this short list that we got so far. We got Orange Cassidy, who is the champion. We got Aaron Solo, we got Powers Hobbs, we got QT Marshall, we got Ricky Starks, and we got 16 other competitors who we have no idea who they're gonna be. Where do I start? So there's a funny rumor going around that Orange Cassidy's injured, but I think it's false. I think it's just a joke, and the fact that Danhausen will take his place. If that happens, I am switching off my TV and I am going to bed, because how are you gonna replace my least favorite wrestler in AEW with my second least favorite wrestler in AEW? Oh, I can't stand those two. I cannot stand Orange Cassidy. I cannot stand Danhausen. So please keep them away from my TV screens. And Tony Khan, stop opening up every AEW show with Orange Cassidy. I don't care who wins. Orange Cassidy retains. Now onto some wrestlers I actually enjoy watching. We got Wardlow versus Christian Cage. Now, Christian Cage does not need the TNT title. Not at all. He is a prick. He's a dickhead without it. He does not need it. Wardlow, on the other hand, cannot afford to lose his title again. It's just not in the cards. It's not an option. He's lost it too many times, too easily now. It is just simply not an option. So I'm going to say Wardlow gets the win. I'm going to say it's going to be a good match. Simple as that. If Wardlow doesn't win, that's another reason for me to switch off my TV. But in saying that, I do really, really, really like Christian Cage. Okay, on to another one. We got FTR versus Double J and the JL. So Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. As Dax said, the Impact rejects. So I don't know, man. Jeff Jarrett in AEW does not fit. I like the guy. I like his work. I like his character work before and now. Maybe not in Impact so much because yeah, he booked himself to the moon. But no, it's not it. Not against FTR. I think it's gonna be a relatively short match. I don't think it's gonna go on very long. FTR new champions. They're still relatively new champions. Tony Khan is trying to pay them back for what he did to them, in my opinion. For not booking them, for treating them like crap, not booking them against the Bucks when they should have been booked against the Bucks. So I'm gonna say FTR with the win. But it's going to be interesting to see how the Mark Briscoe situation goes down, because obviously we saw a bit of dissent over the last 2 weeks. And the question is, does Mark Briscoe get involved? He is the special guest referee after all. I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens between these teams and Mark Briscoe, because obviously he's got a relationship with both FTR and Jay Lethal. That's the story going around anyway, but it is true as well. So I'm still going to say FTR win, but I'm going to say Mark Briscoe gets involved in some way, and then he's going to have a feud with Jay Lethal thereafter. That's what I'm thinking. Number 1. I say number 1 because that's the list I'm reading. But the main event, we got MJF versus Jungle Boy Jack Perry versus Sammy Guevara and versus Darby Allin. All for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. And who's taking the win? It's got to be MJF. Surely it's MJF. I don't see anybody else getting the win in this situation other than MJF. Honestly, it has to be MJF at this point. He cannot lose the title so soon. After all this talk about having his reign of terror and having the fact that he's going to hold the title forever, and the bidding war of 2024, which I think is a bunch of bullshit because he secretly re-signed, I think he has to win. I think there's only 2 people that should be dethroning him at this point, and that is either Adam Cole or CM Punk. And I definitely do not want CM Punk, so Adam Cole it is. Now, there's one other person in this match who I think, if they win and get a surprise win, because we don't have enough surprise wins in AEW for the world title. I know it's only been 4 years, but like, we haven't had that one shocking win. And don't say the Punk Moxley thing, because that was all just a mess from the start. Like, honestly, it was such a mess. So I'm gonna say, if Darby Allin gets the win, I'll be fine with it. Darby Allin has grown on me. Me and Darby Allin have had a love-hate relationship. One day I love him, next day I'm like, this guy is trying to end his career already at his young age. But the man's got a character. That's one thing. He's got a character, and his character gets people to like him. He's Jeff Hardy of nowadays. I mean, that comparison has been made to death, but it's true. It's really true. So I'm going to say if Darby Allin wins, I'll be happy. But MJF's getting the win at the end of the day. So guys, that was my predictions for AEW Double or Nothing. Let me know if I was talking a bunch of bullshit or if I was spinning straight facts. Anyways guys, see you in the next video. Take care and peace.